Calyrex-Shadow might be the most broken Pokemon ever created, and today we're going to be talking about why this Pokemon is so good. We're going to look at some sets that you can run with it, also some teams that it works very well in, and then at the end we're going to do some battles on the best of one ladder just to test it out. So guys, I'm sure as you've all just seen, the Regulation G rule set has been announced. While obviously we are still technically in Regulation F, Pokemon Showdown has gone ahead and given us a Regulation G ladder to do some testing on. And your boy has been running up the ladder with none other than Calyrex-Shadow. This Pokemon is honestly pretty freaking broken, right? For anyone who doesn't know what this mon does, basically, right, it gets two abilities to start with, right? So you see here, it gets As-1, it gets Spectra's ability, and it gets Calyrex's ability. Unnerve, I'm pretty sure most of us are, well aware what this does. Essentially, you can't eat berries, which essentially means, things like Incineroar, for example, can't eat its citrus berry when in front of a Calyrex-Shadow. But it also gets Grim Neigh, which is Spectra's ability, which, as you guys can see here, when this Pokemon picks up a KO, it gets +1 to its special attack stat, which is pretty broken when you factor in the fact that Calyrex-Shadow has a 165 special attack stat, which is absolutely bonkers, right? One of the highest special attack stats we have in the game. And then as you can see here, it also has a blistering 150 speed. And when you take a look at Pokemon, it is literally, oh, that's base stats, I want speed. It is literally tied the second fastest Pokemon in the game with Electrode and Hisuian Electrode, both of which are, very bad Pokemon and will see zero play. The only thing that does outspeed it here is Regieleki or, things like Choice Scarf Mons or boost energy speed Pokemon like Iron Bundle and Fluttermane. But for the most part, essentially, Regieleki sees no play. These guys see no play. Nothing outspeeds Calyrex unless they do have some access to something like a Choice Scarf or a boost energy, meaning this Pokemon is one of the fastest Pokemon in the game and also one of the hardest hitting Pokemon. But unfortunately for us, it doesn't actually end there. This thing's signature move, Astral Barrage, is a 120 base power move that hits both Pokemon and has zero drawbacks. As you can see here, it is 100% accurate. This move is honestly bonkers, right? When you pair that up with As-1 or Grim Neigh, you basically have the ability to deal massive damage to different Pokemon, potentially pick up a double KO. And if you do pick up the double KO, it is just GG from there, honestly. This mon gets +2 special attack, and it runs through. Unfortunately, it also doesn't end there. As you can see, this is a Ghost Psychic type, which, by the way, is a very good defensive typing. It only has 2 weaknesses, both of which are 4 times weaknesses to Ghost and Dark. But regardless, only having 2 weaknesses is very pog. But obviously, Astral Barrage, it's a Ghost type. You might be asking, what is its, its Psychic type move here? It's Expanding Force, which is a even more powerful move than Astral Barrage. Obviously, it doesn't hit as many things for neutral damage, but if you're in a game where you can just click Expanding Force with, basically what I think it's 156 base power technically, yeah, it's bonkers, and I'm sure you can see why this mon just absolutely snowballs games. Now, before we move over to the sets I've cooked up for you guys, please, for me, if you could, hit the like button, consider subscribing, and while you're down there, leave a comment. It really helps, it helps in the algorithm, helps get your boy out there, and, at the end of the day, we're just here, we're playing some Pokemon VGC, man. We're doing our best, to bring the knowledge to the community. So I've gone ahead here and essentially put together 6 different sets for you guys to look at here. Now, these are very, very simple, right? We are really, realistically, 2 days into the format, maybe 3 days at this point. I don't actually know off the top of my head. So my EV spreads are very simple. Things will definitely change as, we move forward in the format. But these are relatively simple, but I do think it kind of covers a lot of what Calyrex wants to do. So the first set I put up here is probably my favorite of the sets, honestly. This is just a pretty standard choice spec set here with Terra Normal. Essentially, Terra Normal is very good into the mirror. You can't be hit with Ghost type moves. And as we said before, obviously, this Pokemon is 4x weak to Ghost. So having an immunity to that is very, very important, especially when things like Speed Boost or Fluttermane can just outspeed you with, booster speed and then just one-shot you with a Shadow Ball. So I do think having access to Terra Normal is very, very nice. And then, of course, you look at the other moves here. We've got Astral Barrage, we've got Expanding Force. These are, they're the 2 best moves on this Pokemon, right? We've also opted for Shadow Ball because, obviously, with, some of these restricted Pokemon coming up, things like Calyrex, even Calyrex-Ice, Rhyhorn, Groudon, Kyogre. I do think, obviously, spread moves are going to be very good, which means Wide Guard will definitely pick up in usage. And because of that, having just a secondary stab option here in Shadow Ball, I do think is very important. And then finally, Dark Pulse. Again, this is kind of just a filler. There are a lot of different other moves that you can kind of put in that last slot, and we will roll through some of them as we go on here. But yeah, I do think this is just basically very, very standard. One of the best, some of the best moves you can really run on this Pokemon. And in terms of EVs, honestly, this is just very simple, right? This is just max. Essentially, you're going to run into a lot of Calyrex mirrors. And trust me when I say this, if you run into the Calyrex mirror, you want Terra Normal and you probably want max speed unless your team is specifically built around not being max speed. If you've got other ways to take on the Cali, that's fine. But if your best answer to Cali is Cali, you're definitely going to want to run something like this. Now, another set we have here is the Focus Sash set. This is very similar to what we kind of just looked at in terms of the EVs here, just going max. Obviously, for a restricted Pokemon, this is an incredibly fragile Pokemon. 100, while it's like decently bulky in non-restricted formats, in a restricted format, it is actually quite squishy, at least for a restricted guy who is very offensive. Because of that, we have the Focus Sash here. We have the Terra Ghost, because again, our game plan here is kind of just run through with Astral Barrage, right? If you can ever get up a nasty plot with this set and then just click on Terra Ghost, Astral Barrage, you will honestly just run through teams. And Psyshock here is just another great option if you don't want to run Expanding Force, or if you don't have like an Indeedee on your team. Just having another option there just to click a single target move, I do think is very important, right? Especially when things like Mienshao are going to be some of the best answers into, opposing Calyrex-Shadow. You do really want to be able to hit them with something like a Psyshock just to make sure, you have something to hit through Wide Guard. Another set though here is the Life Orb set. Now, this is one that has been running around just a little bit. This is the Terra Fairy Draining Kiss set. Essentially, for anyone who doesn't know how this works, when you Terra, basically all moves under 60 base power get buffed to 60 base power. So because of that, Draining Kiss goes from 50 to 60, which is a nice little buff, and then of course you get Stab buff on top of that, right? So essentially it makes it a 90 base power move for Calyrex. And again, when you're hitting this hard, it is very nice. And also, when you're a very squishy Pokemon, sometimes getting off 2 of these to get you back to max HP can actually go a long way, right? Just getting off a Draining Kiss into something like an Urshifu, healing back 50% of your HP can definitely be the difference between winning and losing a game. And then, of course, it's just Astral Barrage and Psychic here. Astral Barrage, again, this is going to be on every single set you run Calyrex on, right? This is its bread and butter. This is its go-to. There are not very many types that resist Ghost. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure it's just normal and dark. And because of that, you just want to spam this move and then kind of just fit with it. Essentially what you think is going to be good, right? Now, these next 2 sets here are both kind of pretty similar. These are just like kind of the setup sets here. So on this one, we have Plot plus Substitute, as you can see here, with our only offensive move being Astral Barrage. Again, if you're going to run something like this, make sure you do have answers into, some of the dark and the normal types, because they can be a bit of a problem. But we'll kind of touch on that a little bit as well when we kind of go to the partners for this Pokemon. But essentially, the game plan with this mon here is, again, you kind of want to protect it. This is kind of like, protect the king, as people like to say, or protect the queen, however, you want to say it. This is just, have a lot of fake out support with it, have like, for example, Instant plus Rillaboom, have terrain regen, then you can just go like, sub protect, plot protect, you're full HP, potentially still behind a sub. And yeah, you kind of just start running through with Astral Barrages. Because of that, as you can see, we are a very bulky set for this one. Our speed here is to outspeed things like Iron Bundle. You can actually go 1 speed point slower, but as you see here, we hit a bump. So if you do go for something like 189 into Timid Nature, you set it 207, where that 1 extra point gets you up to 209. So it's just one of those little efficiency plays. Plus, you also get to kind of speed creep people. Yeah, this is just a very bulky set. Like, honestly, this mon hits so damn hard naturally with like 0 investment. Even if you go something like this and click plot, you still almost have 400 special attack, which is absolutely insane. And then again, if you ever get an as one with, the Grimnay here, you kind of just run through. And this set here is the exact same essentially, except instead of lefties, you got Spell Tag. Spell Tag is very, very nice because it still allows you to deal, a bit of damage without actually having to set up Nasty Plot, which I do think is pretty nice. But again, these both have Terra Ghost, but realistically, this can be whatever you want, right? I think Fairy's good, obviously Normal looks good, Ghost is good. And the final Terra as well, which I think is pretty good, which I did throw in this last set, is Terra Dark. I don't necessarily think Dark is the best because I do think things like Choice Specs Flutter Mane will go with the speed booster, and rather than actually going for, the Shadow Ball predicting like you to Terra, I think they're always just gonna raw like Terra Fairy Moonblast you, because like Zero Bulk Flutter Mane with Terra like always lives Choice Specs Astral Barrage, and because of that, I think they're just gonna, they're gonna go for the KO with the Terra Fairy Moonblast, or even if if you're built to live it, which I'm pretty sure most do, at that point, you're still just like either 1, fishing for the drop, or 2, putting in a range where it just dies the next turn, which I do think is very important. But the final set here is actually Neil VGC's set. He did this, he put this out in his video a couple days ago. The only difference was he was Terra Normal, not Terra Dark. But I did think this was still worth, kind of talking about, right? This is a Choice Spec set. It's got Astral Barrage and Expanding Force. Again, you kind of want to pair it with Indeedee. But then it has Trick and Protect. Now, these last 2 moves are kind of like filler, right? Because I think 99% of the time anyway, or sorry, I shouldn't say 99% of the time, but it feels like a good 70-80% of the time you're clicking Astral Barrage. Expanding Force definitely is good in some games, but realistically, your filler moves here are kind of like whatever. You're like hardly ever clicking them. Again, maybe Shadow Ball I think is like still really good, because like Shadow Ball is definitely still worth clicking, whereas like, in games where you don't want to play the Astral Barrage mind games. So because of that, I do think like Shadow Ball plus Trick is good. Obviously, I know a lot of people are probably going to sit there and be like, oh, dude, Specs plus Protect. The whole idea is to trick away your Specs. And at that point, especially if you're on Close Sheet, they don't know you have Protect, right? Because they're like, oh, you Choice Specs. Okay, just double it. And then like you Protect and allows you to, buy that extra turn, which can be super valuable. But I will throw out there before we actually like kind of move on to, the partners for this thing. Calyrex actually has a lot of really good like status moves here. Status. If you take a look at this, man, this guy's bag is really deep, right? Also gets access to Card Mine, which is very nice. I think you probably just want Astral Barrage anyway, because this one really wants to snowball. But it gets access to things like Fast Encore, Fast Haze, it gets Helping Hand, it has access to Light Screen, which probably isn't ideal. Pain Split, probably not going to run it. Your HP stat is like still relatively high. But you can see here, right? It gets Sub, Taunt, Willow. Like this one does have a lot of really good options. Even like things like Grassy Terrain. It's probably like a best of one cheese. Even Trick Room. Like you could run like super slow Trick Room even potentially. Like let's have a look at this. Like what if I just go like Quiet, 0 speed? Like I'm sure you could catch people off guard with that, especially if you go into like some super hyper offensive team. But yeah, Calyrex, dude, this one's got a lot of different sets you can run. This is my personal favorite. But honestly, at the end of the day, it just comes down to what team you're running and what kind of suits it best. Now, for the Calyrex partners here, I'm not going to go too in-depth with their sets here, because I will show off a few of them shortly in some of the teams we'll look at. But there are definitely more partners that deserve to be here that aren't on this list. I thought I'd just keep it short and sweet for now, because again, we're only a couple days into the format. I kind of want to go over the bare minimum with these bonds and kind of why they're good with Calyrex-Shadow, and then from there, we'll kind of just look at some teams, then we'll jump into some battles real quick. But yeah, Mienshao here, as you guys can see, I basically think Mienshao is like the perfect partner for Calyrex-Shadow, right? When you think about Calyrex-Shadow, right? What is Calyrex-Shadow? What's it not able to hit, right? It's not able to hit normal types and dark types. Ooh. What hits normal types and dark types for super effective damage? It is fighting type. So because of that, close combat is incredibly good, right? When you think of a partner with Calyrex-Shadow as well, sometimes Incineroar can be very annoying, right? Because they'll lead Incineroar plus say like a Trick Room mon, and then essentially what they'll do at that point is they'll go like Fake Out plus just Trick Room, right? And say your partner is something like, say its partner's like an Indeedee or like a, for example, a Farigiraf, right? Say they're the partners there, right? It's simple. You just fake out the partner, and then you just set up Trick Room. But when you have something like Mienshao says like, hey, okay, you can have the Trick Room, right? And again, this is why I also like running Dark Pulse as well, because it gives you options into things like Indeedee and into Giraffe, especially too, because then they have to play the mind game of like, oh, are they going to Dark Pulse me? Maybe I have to Terra Fairy or something like that, right? But essentially put you in a position where you can just go Astral Barrage and CC, and there is no Incineroar that lives that double up, right? If the Incineroar is something like Terra Normal, that is like honestly the only possible way it ever lives. Like if they go Terra Normal and they're super physically defensive, because I'm pretty sure, like, I won't go into it here, but I'm pretty sure off memory, you need something like this, I think. Again, I'd have to double check it. You need something like that to live a close combat from a Jolly Max Mienshao. It might honestly just be like this as well, like with a special defense nature. But like, it's something like that to have a chance to live, right? So at that stage, even if you're on like, say 10% HP, you're always dead to Astral Barrage. Specs Astral Barrage is always doing like 30-40%. Especially if you're that physically defensive, it's honestly doing more. Like Specs Astral Barrage is going to do like minimum 40 if you invest so much into your Fizz Def, right? So because of that, I think Mienshao's like really good. Wide Guard is fantastic into the mirror. It's also really good into like opposing Trick Room teams, right? Say you're going up against things like, say you're going up against, what's his name? The other Calyrex-Ice. They're going up against like Calyrex-Ice, right? You can just sit there and spam Wide Guard, forcing it into the high horsepower. And at that point, you can take the high horsepower and you're not that, you're fine with it. Feint is also really good into opposing Wide Guard. It's going to be really funny because I'm sure we're going to see some mirrors where it's like Cali plus Mienshao versus Cali plus Mienshao. And both of them are going for like Wide Guard plus like Terra Normal Astral Barrage. And at that point, there's going to be like all these mind games. Is like, is Mienshao going to Terra Ghost? Is Cali going to Terra Normal? Like, what do you do? I don't know, man. Like, it's going to be crazy, honestly. Like, it's going to be sick. And then Fake Out as well. Finally with Fake Out, it's just there is like nothing in the format that is going to be faster than this, outside of, like potentially Raichu on the, what's it called, Kyogre teams. But even then, like, Raichu's probably a meme, let's be honest. It's going to be good, man. And like, yeah, this thing, honestly, it's the perfect partner for Cali. I love it. Indeedee, this mon, it's super simple, right? This guy has Follow Me and it has Helping Hand. Cali kind of just wants to sit there and it wants to spam out Expanding Forces. It wants to, sit there and spam out the Astral Barrages. He gives it more damage. He, allows you to redirect things like, the Flutter Mane we were talking about earlier, going for things like Moonblast or Shadow Ball into it. You can kind of just like say, hey, I can go for something like a Psychic Seed, redirect, any Moonblast, any Shadow Balls, and Cali can kind of just sit there and click its buttons, which I do think is going to be very, very sick. The Incineroar, this is kind of like this is a combo here. This is the Intimidate plus Fake Out Parting Shot with Fake Out plus Grassy Surge. Basically, I'm sure if anyone watched like the regionals over the weekend with Brady Smith, you would have seen how he kind of played his Raging Bolt. It's very similar here, right? You're using these two to like kind of help enable the nasty plot variant of of our good friend Calyrex, even, you know, the sub variants as well, where you're just like, hey, I'm just going to fake out one mon as I plot, and I'm going to protect, and then I'm going to parting shot out into my Rillaboom, and then as my Rillaboom comes in, you know, my protect's down, but I have another fake out. It's just, you know, it's like the perfect balance call, right? You just double faking stuff out while, you know, you're spreading Intimidate to parting shots. It's honestly just really damn good, man. Urshifu Rapid, though, this feels a very similar role to what we were saying about Mienshao. This is just a really strong physical attacker. Also, the Choice Scarf variant of Urshifu Rapid, I think, is very, very good next to it as well, because I think Adamant, I guess for anyone who doesn't know, Adamant 252 Choice Scarf, so if you just go something like this on it, that's a Sceptile Knight Scarf. Adamant 252 Scarf is actually 1 point faster than Cali. So Cali hits 222. This with Choice Scarf actually hits 223. So that's something to keep in mind. It's very nice for the mirrors, especially too if they don't have any speed control, then you can kind of just like run through it with like Terra Water Surging Strikes, which I do think is nice. And then finally, Chi-Yu here. One of Calyrex's best friends is definitely Dark types. Obviously, we have Incin there, you know, for a more defensive option. But if you want a more offensive option, I do think Chi-Yu is very, very good. Chi-Yu is a fantastic Pokemon as well into things like the Calyrex-Ice Trick Room teams, because Calyrex-Ice kind of has the high horsepower that Chi-Yu. It can't really afford to go for the Glacial Lance into it, because you can just tank it and, you know, in return get a one-shot on it. Not to mention, you're probably the most powerful special attacker in the game, and you have Beads of Ruin, man. Like, honestly, if this Pokemon got Helping Hand, it would be busted. Like, look at these little fins here. You're telling me he can't clap them together, but freaking Gyarados can, man? Absolutely ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, look, there are a lot of other Pokemon that pair incredibly well with it. Obviously, speed control is really good if you have access to things like, you know, Tailwind from either Tornadus or Whimsicott. Urshifu Dark as well was like another mod I really wanted to put on this list, but I'm like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have both Urshis. But it's more or less the exact same thing, right? It gives you a Dark type that's like obviously really good into the normal and the fighting types. Sorry, the normal and Dark types. But again, it's, you know, Dark's just good with it, Fighting's good with it. It's kind of role compression, right? It kind of does, you know, what these two mons here kind of do together. Outside of like the support, obviously. I should actually say it's what Urshi and Chi-Yu do together, not Mienshao. Mienshao's job's completely different. But yeah, he's really good. Obviously things like Speed Booster Fluttermane as well are good. Regieleki could even see some play. Booster Iron Bundle's good. Yeah, like basically any form of speed control. Anything that kind of enables it to set up like these guys. Honestly, even like redirection like Amoonguss is probably fine. Clefairy as well with like redirection Life Dew is probably good. But yeah, there's like a lot of really good options. But yeah, let's jump over and have a look at some of the teams I got in the builder, and then we'll get into some games. So the first team we're going to take a look at here is the Rain team I built with the homie Lukey VGC. Essentially, this is just using that first set we looked at here, which is the Astral Barrage Expanding Force set. Honestly, now that I'm here, I'm just going to drop this for Shadow Ball. I'm just going to say it right now. I think Trick is on... I'm going to go Dark Balls as well. I think this is probably the best way to play it, honestly. I think Astral Barrage Expanding Force, Shadow Ball, and Dark Balls, just really good. Terra Normal is very nice in the mirror. The Mienshao, I'm going to also change this as well to Terra Ghost. The reason you go Terra Ghost is, again, for the Faint Mirrors. Like, if you're ever in a situation where you have to, like, potentially break a Wide Guard or have your Wide Guard broken with these two on the board, you don't really want to be in a position where your opponent can just, like, feint to break your Wide Guard. So, I think something like this is definitely good. The Indeedee female here, it's very simple. On this set, we went Trick Room and Prison. The reason we went Trick Room and Prison here is simply because we want to be able to stop any, you know, opposing Trick Room from going up. It's very nice into the Incineroar stuff. And we've got no attack here because essentially this thing's plan is just to die. We also went Psychic Seed as well. That way we don't have an item, which I do think is pretty important because that way, you know, you can't get knocked off by Incineroars. You don't have to worry about like some crit picking up a KO on you without Terra. And then, yeah, at that point, you can just go in Prison into Helping Hand Astral Barrages. And yeah, most Incineroars actually, you know, funny enough, don't live a Specs Astral Barrage into a Specs Helping Hand Astral Barrage. Which is kind of nutty considering it's a really bulky mon and it resists both moves. And again, it can't eat its Citrus Berry because Unnerve is a thing. And then to round out this team, we honestly just went for a pretty hyper-offensive team here with, you know, Tornadus, Urshifu, and Landorus. I'm a big fan of these three together. I think they're really, really good. Obviously, you know, Torn Urshi still, you know, has issues with the old Raging Bolt. But the good news is, obviously, with like Rain Dance plus Landorus here on a Rain team with Sandsear Storm, you can kind of deal with it a little bit better. But yeah, it's honestly like super simple. We're still not too sure on the set for this guy. We're like a little bit speedy with like a bit of bulk. Urshi, it's just max. Honestly, you could drop all like, you know, some of the attack for bulk. But realistically, Urshi's job on this team is to kill the things that, you know, Calyrex doesn't really want to. Like, the idea behind it is just like Terra Water, Rain Dance, break a hole in the team, and then, you know, come in later with Cali under Tailwind and kind of just like sweep through. And same thing with Landorus, right? There are some situations where you don't really want to like fuck with things like, you know, the Raging Bolts, and because of that, you kind of just go, you know, you lead the Landorus and you just start clicking like Rain Dance plus Sandsear Storm and just start running through like that. But yeah, that's the first team. I think we got this team pretty high. We actually went on a 10-game win streak with it last night. We actually went 10-0 with the team. I really wish we recorded it because we had some like really good games where I think it really showed off the power of, especially like Mienshao. Like Mienshao was the MVP of this team. But yeah, it's like a really cool team, and I definitely think you guys should test it out. And yeah, I'll also leave a link to the pace down below in the description. So this next one here, I'm not gonna lie, this is just a straight rip from Len. I believe Lexicon VGC is the name. I'll double check that. But yeah, this guy, very very good player. And he just dropped his team on Twitter, so I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna steal it. So you see here, Psychic Seek plus Terrifier, very good. Alluring Voice, Helping Hand, Trick Room, Follow Me. Honestly, this set might be a bit better than the Imprison stuff because you can just like risk it and say, I'm just gonna reverse the Trick Room before you like as they try to like parting shot into their friend, which is definitely still an option. But yeah, I think it's like still really good. Obviously here we see he's actually gone Choice Scarf with Trick. He obviously did opt for the Shadow Ball here as well, Terra Dark as well. I think Choice Scarf is actually really interesting because you just win the mirror. A lot of the time they're not ready for it because you have the option of just going for like either one Expanding Force or two just like straight up Shadow Balling it, which I do think is definitely very very nice. And Terra Dark does give you a resistance to the incoming Astral Barrage here. The set he's running is the exact same set we had before. He's Terra Fighting, which I did think was really interesting. I'm wondering if there's a certain KO he picks up with it. I'm not entirely too sure. I didn't actually see the breakdown of the team. One of the homies passed me the team, so yeah, I haven't actually seen it, but apparently dropped it on his Twitter, so maybe I'll have to go check that out after the video. But then to round out the team here, a little bit of redirection. Ogerpawn Wellspring is really good because it really helps out with the Kyogre matchup. I do think Choice Scarf Kyogre can be a bit of a problem for the team. So having something that's like just a free switch into it that also like threatens a one-shot with Woodhammer, I do think is like really nice. Whimsicott, personal favorite of mine, absolutely love this one here. Kind of wild to see him actually go for the double offensive here, but I'm assuming Grass Knot deals massive damage both into Kyogre, into Groudon, which is definitely why he's running it. And to see like the max set here as well is kind of crazy, especially because he's not Sash. Like Sash is over here, but like honestly, like this is probably like still really really good. But yeah, I do really like this by Lex. Like it's like super sick. And then finally, my guy Chi Yu, the GOAT. Yeah, this is just like the choice spec stuff, right? It's pretty standard. He's got max. Again, when you're like this early in a format, max is like honestly the play. And like you see this is one of the best plays in the world. And he's essentially just got max everything. Hitting 169 to outspeed, opposing Landorus. But yeah, like really cool team here by Lex. I personally really like it. And then finally, we have the team I whipped up earlier today. This is just a very, very hyper offensive version of the team, right? This is just Calyrex-Shadow with choice specs. This is Focus Sash Mienshao doing what it did before. We've been through all that shit. Then we got actually a Choice Scarf Chi Yu. So Choice Scarf Chi Yu I actually really like because this set obviously outspeeds things like opposing Calyrex, which is very, very nice. And I did actually opt on this team to drop Heat Wave for Flamethrower. Really, the reason behind this was because, again, Wide Guard is going to be super good. And I think like Modest Fish with Flamethrower actually pumps out a lot of damage, especially if you have it on the board next to something like Calyrex-Shadow. Because people may just like straight up ignore the fish and just start like letting you just spam out flamethrowers, which I think is pretty pog. But yeah, the Heat Wave's like really good. Obviously, Snarl's really nice, and Dark Pulse also just like really good. Pretty standard fish stuff, honestly. Very similar with like the Flutter Mane here. I have like played around with the idea of going for Terra Stellar, but realistically, what I found when I click Terra on my Flutter Mane, its job is to kind of just spam out Moonblast normally. Like I'm clicking Terra to spam Moonblast, but honestly, I think Terra Stellar definitely is like worth testing. But yeah, Moonblast, Shadow Ball, Icy Wind, Protect. Again, the reason I've opted here to go No Dazzling Gleam, which has been pretty popular in the past, is because I want to deal as much damage as I can to the restricted Pokemon. And because of that, I feel like Dazzling Gleam on sets like this is kind of just like whatever, right? Like, yeah, it's nice chip, but I feel like a lot of the time these days, you're just doing like 20% if you don't Terra Fairy. And obviously if you Terra Fairy, it's like a bit nicer, but still, it kind of just like bounces like off Pokemon, right? So I think Moonblast and Shadow Ball together is very nice. And again, there's a lot of Wide Guard running around, so having just like, two like moves that just like, just hit straight is very nice. And again, obviously having Shadow Ball into things like Cali is super good. Because it kind of puts you in these positions where, if it's open team sheet and they're like Terra Dark, they're like, oh shit, is he going to Moonblast me or is he going to Shadow Ball me? Yeah, so yeah, I just think it's nice. And the set here, honestly, pretty simple. This is like a super old set I ran way back in the day. I think I actually pulled, I forget who I pulled it from. But like, it's like decent into the Qian Power stuff. It honestly probably needs to be adapted. You probably don't need that much special attack. But again, this team's very offensive, and I kind of just wanted to make sure I dealt damage if I was next to Chi Yu. The Whimsicott on this team here, though, this is just like the full speed control set here. Honestly, I'm like really torn on the spreads. Like, you could honestly tell me that like this is the play, and I'd like believe you. Can I like get rid of that? Thank you. Like, you could honestly tell me this is the play. You know, even looking at like Lex's spread, you could like even convince me to like drop Cotton Spore or Protect for like Grass Knot as well, which is like probably pretty fine. Also, yeah, Terra Steel with Covert Cloak's good. You could, again, Terra Fire also probably seems fine as well. But yeah, like realistically, run this like however you kind of want. There's like a lot of ways to run it. I don't think it's like, you know, there's no like wrong answer really. Like my idea is kind of like, yeah, Moonblast is nice, but I have Flutter Mane if I want to spam out Moonblasts. And I really kind of just want speed control. So Tailwind plus the Cotton Spore is like really good. Like this, like being like scary phase, but on both Pokemon, I think is like super sick. And then to round us out here, it's just a, you know, it's just a slower, bulkier Urshifu. Really, the Urshi on this team, again, its job is to kind of break things that Calyrex-Shadow doesn't want to. But with like Tailwind and Icy Wind support, I think having a bit bulkier is nice because like if you can live one hit, that you wouldn't, you know, normally, I think it's like really good. You could probably even opt to run a bit more HP and run like less attack or even like less speed. But honestly, I'd have to play around with the calcs more. But yeah, guys, that's like the 3 teams here I kind of wanted to show off. I've been rambling on for like almost 30 minutes at this point, which is kind of wild. So let's quickly jump into some battles and just and wrap this up, I think. Yo, boys, real quick, this is just future editing ScootTZ here. I just, you know, I kind of realized, like, hey, the first battle here, I originally wasn't planning on, like, uploading it. I was gonna, like, just skip it. But the battle was, like, kind of okay, right? I think I cooked. We got to see, you know, a bit of the power of the old Chi, and it was an okay game. So, just know it wasn't originally intended to actually be, like, uploaded. Like, when I was playing, I'm like, I'll play it for the rating, but, like, it's just whatever. It's a warm-up game. I'm not gonna upload the video. But I said, fuck it. I'm just gonna upload it anyway. So, yeah, first one, I do apologize. You know, it's if it's a bit, like, you know, depressing or I'm not talking loud or whatever, I apologize. I didn't plan on uploading. I wasn't kind of commentating it, but you know, I still think I cooked. Yeah, I still think I cooked. So, okay, interesting. To start things off here, we have a Calyrex-Shadow plus Regigigas team. It's going to be kind of annoying because the Gigas will outspeed the Chi as well, which is kind of frustrating. Also stopping the booster from going off as well. It's super annoying. We always have Fake Out as an option as well. Honestly, we could get like Fake Out and then just Trick, potentially. Turn one with Cali. So this is actually the wrong spreads. Just a warm-up game. Okay, if this one's just a warm-up, we don't care that much. I guess we want to win for the fucking rating, right? Thought about this, yeah. Put it a bit higher. Obviously Aleki's gonna be super annoying. He does have his own Indeedee as well, which is kind of whatever. My own Chi only doesn't seem that bad with her Ghost. Like Mienshao is okay, maybe. Mienshao, have you in the back with Flutter in the back. Probably seems okay. Cali Flutter in the back. I think this is okay. He just goes, what's this, like Weezing Gigas? Yeah, that's kind of what I expected. And we just go like Fake Out here, just Terra. Like, ever Terra Dark Pulse or is it just Terra Flamethrower? I think Terra Dark Pulse is fine. Even Snarl's okay with what he has in the back. Yeah, because like if he goes Ghost, it doesn't matter. Yeah, Drain Punch fails too. 666. We just got like CC Snarl here. Feels fucking good, man. Yeah, very nice. CC gets the kill. Beautiful. Beautiful start to the game, man. Beautiful freaking start to the game. Aleki comes in. Reggie Electro Kid. I don't think you're picking up either kill here. This could just be the Volt Switch or being super annoying with Electro Web to like set off what's in the back. I mean, what's stopping me from just going CC here left? Just CC Snarl. Yeah, he's gonna go Protect. That's like whatever, right? Like it really doesn't matter. We're chipping down this Weezing. He gets my Sash. It's whatever. Now I guess we just get a potential Sash off him here. He's gonna try to just take out Mienshao, but at this stage I think it's fine. Chiyu kind of just goes in. Yeah, we held. Dude, very fucking nice. Oh no, he pain splits my fish. I think this is just faint here and go Snarl. I don't think he kills my fish. If I'd done that the other way there, it would have been so sick. Clear Smog takes me out. That's a-okay at this stage. Because the thing is, we're not outspeeding this guy, are we? We sure, yeah. The T-Bolts are faster. Just go protect Snarl here. Make sure we get the Icy Wind boost for what's in the back. And this should be whapped up. Yeah, and we eat that easy. Now we're neutral speed. We kill both. Yeah, Chi just went kind of crazy this game, didn't it? Yeah, now he brings in his own Cali, and guess what, my friend? We just go... I protected last turn, didn't I? And he still has his Terra available. I think we just have to go Icy so ours wins the mirror. Yeah, he goes Terra normal, that's fine. Lower the speed, he picks up a double here. Oh, wait. Yeah, that's sick. Yeah, and now we outspeed and we KO. He's also a Life Orb too, which is sick. And we just Expanding Force for the dub. I'm pretty sure Expanding Force for the dub here gets him. Yeah, easy. Good warm up there. What are we actually on the ladder right now? It's a great question. Ladder. What are we? We're like 30 something, right? I'd say we're 219 to start the ladder. No, that's not too bad. So, start things off here. We got a Woting combo, man. This is gonna be rough. Doesn't feel freaking good now, does it? Obviously my own Cali's not bad. He does have 3 resists. Expanding Force also isn't great here. But Shadow, I mean, Astral Barrage still kind of goes in. My Chiyu also kind of goes in on him. Honestly, Mianchat Chiyu lead feels okay as well. Like, use these two to open up and then go like Fluttermane, Cali in the back. The speed control is probably not an issue for us this game. I think this is fine. My idea here is kind of just like, use the fish to kind of set up the Cali. Obviously, our biggest issue is going to be getting through that Ting Lu, but if we can force the Ting Lu to Terra, obviously Cali just kind of starts going in, like, in the end game. Especially, too, if we get, like, Cali next to something like my own Chiyu here. Oh, yeah, and this is just, like, really freaking good. We just, like, fake out left here, and then we just go for the Snarls. Fake out left and just Snarl. This is a-okay. This is where he gets to find out with Choice Scarf as well. He's gonna go... Yeah, he's just trying to sleep my Mon, dude. That's fine. Unfortunately, we don't actually have a switch in without our Whimsicott, which is, like, kind of sad. But at the same time, it's honestly probably fine. What are the chances he just goes... Astral Imprison? Actually, he also just didn't find out that we're faster there, which is actually really nice. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you just KO here, right? I think we do this just to cover. Oh, wait, actually, that's so good. Like, it sucks that he gets the switch out there, but we also just catch Wo-Chen with a CC on the switch. Yeah, that's sick. Yeah, and now we're in this, like, really interesting spot where my opponents, I mean, I feel like he just goes, like, he's gonna try and sleep me here, right? It's actually such a good board state to get my my Cali in on, though. I think we just, like, go CC here and we switch to Cali. He goes into his own Cali. It's fine. Dude, that CC chunks. Sick, that's okay. We just go... Oh no, we stay in here once, right? He did show Protect on his Cali, which means he's not Specs like we are. But we should be in a position anyway where we just start, like, running house on him. Do I ever want to risk my Fluttermane is the question. Probably not. I think we just want to wake this guy up. And we just go Terra normal, Astral. Yeah, and we just take both. That's sick. Oh, you sashed, lol. Show me an Astral of your own, though. Yeah, sick. Sick. That puts us in, like, a really good position now. Because, like, we know it's a speed tie, which, like, kind of sucks, but it doesn't matter. We can pivot in whatever we need to on the left here. Yeah, and it's indeed female too, which is, like, kind of sad, but is what it is at this stage, honestly. I just realized too, we have like no way of hitting this Indeedee without Chiyu. I think it's fine though, right? What does he do here? He potentially Trick Rooms on us. But yeah, like the Cali shouldn't be able to hit me. How do I want to play this? We could obviously just risk the wake up here. We could cycle out. We do have Expanding Force, but Expanding Force isn't great yet. I think we just got to keep the pressure on for now. Don't let his Cali do it at once. Issue here is obviously he's going to click Expanding Force, right? And just go for the speed type potentially. I think we have to wake up Chiyu. I think that's our game plan here. He's actually going for the speed tie and he loses it. That's so good for us. Getting back-to-back speed ties there was really good, but I mean, also at this stage, he has like no way through Chiyu unless Chiyu just sleeps for the entire game. I think I probably, I don't know, like, the question is like, turn 1, right, where he like, yeah, I don't know, maybe I could have just like straight flamethrowered the Amoonguss. Like, to me, it was super weird that he, yeah, I mean, the fact that he like let me do this was wild, right? Because even if I'm like Heat Wave there, like he doesn't know I'm Scarf. But I don't know. GG. Get another one in. Yeah, I don't know. That was like super weird because, I don't know. We'll just give me the Amoonguss, and I mean, realistically, he was Sash as well, which means he had like no way of killing my Chiyu. It was probably like a 3-shot. This is scary though, I'm not gonna lie. This kinda has to be... God, I don't know. Oh, this is rough. I think this has to be Flutter Chiyu lead here, and we kinda just have to stop this thing from Trick Rooming. Will he give me the sheet? Normally I wouldn't take the sheet on close team sheet. I really want to know the terror on this thing. Because realistically, what are our options here, right? We go something like Cali plus Flutter's okay. And we should have the speed control unless it's like Scarf, Dark Shifu is like the only thing that would really threaten me here. If he doesn't give it to me, maybe just Flutter Cali, then we ignore the fake out and we can put pressure on here. The biggest issue we're gonna have obviously is like Ting's really hard to deal with. Especially too if he is something like potentially Terrifier, I think is like pretty common on them. My own Urshion leads like bad if I don't know. Unless do I just go like Mienshao? Do I just go Mienshao and just fake out? Do like fake out Astral Barrage? Honestly, that feels like it might be the play. Just fake out Astral Barrage. Gives me a CC option as well. Yeah, I think that's the play. I think we go these two here. I mean, realistically, if Tailwind goes up, this is a wrap. I've got, like, no way through this guy. I think we have to bring Urshi as well. And then is it just my Flutter or my Chiyu? Tailwind does nothing here. It's probably just Chiyu in the back. So, I mean, that can threaten a one-shot onto the Gus. But I really want something for the Amoonguss, too. Ah, yeah, of course. Fuck! I had... Now I'm kicking myself. I'm kicking myself now. I mean, I can just raw CC left here, which is, it has to be my play. I think this has to just be Terra Normal, Astral Barrage, CC left. Because, like, really, we need to put the pressure on this Tinglu and get rid of it. And then use Mienshao to clean up the Cali. Like, just pray to God he, like, clicks a spread move on my wide guard. Because realistically, take out Tinglu here. Break the Mimi's thing. I'm Terra Normal as well, which means he can't just like take me out with one shot from Mimi. And then yeah, just pray he Glacial Lances next turn. How much does that do? I mean, realistically, it's really not that much damage. And that also doesn't pick up. That's bad for us. That's really bad for us. He gets the Ruination, which sucks. He gets the Trick Room, which also sucks. Okay, so what's coming in here? We are relatively slow, which is like nice and all, but it really doesn't do much for us this game. Do I predict the switch? Like, maybe Chiyu still just carries this game anyway. Chiyu's gonna be, like, impossible, though, if he's got thingy in the back. I should just gone fake out left, dude, instead of close combat, maybe. Because if I go fake out, he couldn't kill me this turn, or at least it becomes way more difficult. This is a rough lead, man. Kind of wish I just led Flutter Mane and then I could just go like Dazzling Gleam, Astral Barrage or something. Oh man, mistakes were made. Dude, I disrespected Mimi so hard here. Is it just Astral? Just Astral plus... I feel like I need Cali to win the end game here. What's coming into you? Can't be a ghost move. It's probably like a dark move or something, right? This could be a fairy type attack. Yeah, I think we just like stall out turns here, honestly. Nah, stuff it. I think we just have to go with the aggressive play here and get the fake out off the board and get Chiyu back in. Yeah, and you Ruinations my Chiyu. Yeah, okay, sick. The fact that I get this is so big now. He goes Incin and he goes Calyrex-Ice. Okay, so how do we win this game now? We have Fake Out Posture in the back. There'll be 2 turns of Trick Room left. I have 1 Protect on my team, which is my Urshifu. I also have a Sash. This is going to be Glacial Lance plus Fake Out into my Chiyu, right? Which means I think I have to go Urshi, sack Chiyu here with Flamethrower. And then the Ursh puts me in a position, yeah, and then it's going to be Glacial Lance, yep. Sick. And then I can go Mienshao here. He still hasn't terrored, but I can go Fake Out Cali, Surging Strike left. Yeah, Fake Out here. Yep, very pog. And then I've got Protect and Wide Guard if I need them. Realistically, faking out the Cali here probably puts me in a good position next turn to even just go Wide Guard plus attack. But I think if Urshi either, yeah, I was gonna say, sorry, if Incin either terrors here or we get like some chip, then, I mean, yeah, sure, knock off my Mystic Water, doesn't matter. Yep. So the question now becomes, do I just go Protect Wide Guard? Or do I go, because like, what's he got? He's got Trick Room and he's got Protect, which means his only other move's High Horsepower, which means he can't KO both mons here, right? So I think this is just a free Surging. And we just Wide Guard on the thingy. And it does go High Horsepower, damn. That's fun. We get our beast in here. Yeah, because now what we do here is we pray to fucking God. He's terrored. Does this kill? I'm pulling up a calc. Calyrex-Shadow versus, what's this thing? Calyrex-Ice. Calyrex-Ice Rider, 252. Choice specs, 252. Yeah, so Astral Barrage kills here, I reckon. So we just go Astral Barrage and we go Feint into Cali. Yeah, and then our Cali should just one-shot this. Wow. Yep. Ah, Calyrex is broken, boys. Like, I think that game was really poorly played by me. Like, I don't think I did that good. My lead was pretty bad. I mean, I guess damaging Tinglu like that was sick. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I played that one super well, but like, we got a dub, man. Cali's a bastard, boys. So boys, that is going to be it for this one. Please let me know down below what you think of the team. And of course, let me know if there's any other Pokemon you guys want to see me use in the future. Obviously, you know, we've got a lot of restricted Pokemon we've got to go through, right? I got some ideas of stuff I want to use. You know, my Bike Kyogre and Rayquaza, they're definitely on the mind. You know, Groudon as well looks pretty cool. I want to play some Sun, even Miraidon, Rhyhorn, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, let me know down below, I guess, what you guys want to see. And yeah, I guess thank you for getting to the end of the video. I appreciate you all, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.